Hello and welcome to Notes on Film. My name is Josue Peralta. This is day 8 of 10 as we review this year's Academy Awards nominees for Best Score and Best Picture. Today's movie is Sentimental Value, directed by Joachim Trier. The composer for Sentimental Value is Hania Rani, and this marks her first time working with director Joachim in that he sought her out being a fan of some of her albums. Sentimental Value tells the story of a family who has gone through loss, who has gone through divorce, and who is handling a lot of interpersonal issues. It centers around Nora, her father Gustav, and her sister Agnes, wherein the mother just died, the father's in town, and that brings up a lot of old dirt that Nora and her dad have not yet resolved. The story continues as to how they continue to butt heads. Her dad invites her to become a part of his home. She declines, kind of regrets it, kind of not. And through it all, we become aware of a lot of the hardships that they have gone through as a result of their rift, not just Nora and her father, but Agnes as well. The film sort of ends on a high note, where after some revelation and after some processing, Nora decides to take part in her dad's film, and that begins the healing process to heal the rift between the two of them. The end. The film is definitely a slow burn and is very European in that it takes a long time to get to what it's trying to say and is very introspective. That's not a bad thing whatsoever. I enjoy those films just like anyone else. My sister was watching it with me for part of it and she's like, wow, this is boring. And in my back of my mind, I was like, no, this is very interesting. She's just not that kind of person. And if you're not that kind of person, that's okay. But if you are looking for that more introspective kind of movie, this one's definitely for you, and the score definitely reflects that. So now, how did the score play in the film? This is the second movie in this series wherein the length of the film and the length of the score vary widely. The movie itself is 133 minutes long, but the score itself is only 38 minutes. And so, the score within the movie is sparse and well used, kind of. Yes, I mean, okay, it's not badly used, but it does leave you wanting more. Let's put it that way. I was engrossed in the film and I really enjoyed it. However, the only times I can remember hearing the score, and I watched this movie rather recently, was in moments where Nora was with her dad. The first one that really stood out to me was the one where they were having a smoke outside. Later on, when Rachel quits the movie, as she is a Nora surrogate, you hear the score there too, and that works in the scene where it's heartbreaking for both of them, and Gustav goes on his bender and has his near-death experience. The last time I can remember hearing the score was when Nora finally read the screenplay by her dad and made the decision to, hey, you know what? This is destiny. I have to do this. And then we see the scene. We see the one wherein the music is playing in the background and it's soft. And just like the movie leaves us with them kind of getting a little closer together, kind of like that wound is healing, the music also lets us know that auditorily. But other than that, the score was sparsely heard, sticking to its nature of being kind of an observant in the corner and not really wanting to make a scene or make itself shown in the movie. No, as a standalone album, the word that I would put for it would be insignificant. The running theme of this movie of holding everything in also extends to the score, wherein you hear kind of the emotions in it, but you don't hear it in a way where it expresses itself loudly or even assertively or even in a way that get you to attach yourself to that emotion. I don't know if that makes sense. It's not one where you can say, I want to feel a little pensive or maybe I'm feeling a little sad. Let me go ahead and listen to the score and this one will help me wallow in my sadness. It's not one of those. It doesn't let you be one of those. And again, I think that was on purpose. Something that Ronnie does do is give each character their own voice through their own theme. I want to go through them now so you can kind of get a sense of what I heard in each one. A disclaimer, this is not in order, just how I wrote it down. The first one is Gustav's. That one is completely and utterly different from that of the ladies, and his is more eerie. His one has a little bit more of a horror elements. His one is unnerving, I wrote. There's a little bit of hope in there, but it is mostly alone, and it has a lot of spacey because he is kind of a lonely figure, and his song definitely shows that. Next, I'll talk about Nora's. And Nora's has some longing quality, and this longing is more of a quiet longing, I would say. There is some despair in there, a lot of turmoil, some discomfort. Although I do think that it ends in what I call quiet optimism. I think that maybe that's a reflective of the film, and that, you know, her and her dad are coming a little closer together. I liked how that one ended quite a bit, actually. Now, the namesake of the film, the song called Sentimental Value, I wrote that it had a lot of moving pieces, didn't give you any comfort, and there was a lot of heartache. This was Heartache the movie, so it makes a lot of sense that that was like that. The house, who was again a character in and of itself, I heard a lot of beat after beat after beat after beat, which made me think and made me feel the shortness and the passing of time. The movie starts out with a monologue about, you know, how generations have passed through that house, and the score of the house makes you feel that in the way that it's written. Next is the one by Agnes, which is more quiet and more reserved, and the other one's just like her character in the film. I wrote that it's slow, it's methodical, just like her, and it's kind of just there. I know that she is the connecting glue of her dad, of Nora and her dad, let's say, but it doesn't impose itself in any way. And just like just like Agnes doesn't, the score doesn't either. And it's, like I said, just kind of there. But it's not bad though. Don't get me wrong, it's not bad. And then lastly is that of Rachel. Rachel's is the liveliest of them all, and I put that in quotation marks because it is lively, but it's a Norwegian lively. That is to say, it's muted. Whatever lively means, it's already muted. I thought there was more contemplative. I think that one's calling back to when she needs to quit the film because it didn't quite fit her. I thought that it was sort of rhythmic, and it ends with confusion and sadness, again, as a parallel or echoing the film itself. Something I'll mention here that I haven't heard in any other score before is that the way that this was recorded, you can hear the piano keys moving up and down subtly. Like you can hear, when the key strokes are hit and when they kind of pop back up. You can hear those little pops in that. And that was really interesting. I've never heard that before. So maybe this was recorded in a unique way that I've never encountered, but I kind of liked it. It made it feel more grounded, and it made it feel more real and tangible. Something that I think the score was missing, some sort of tangibility. But then again, it was more of a mental health movie anyway. There weren't a lot of nitty-gritty issues that they had to encounter, like, you know, actual physical problems. So that was part of it too. But suffice it to say that I enjoyed those little keystrokes, hearing them, and I thought that they were pleasant. I really enjoyed them. As for standouts, I'm saddened to say that there really weren't any. It wasn't that kind of a score, and maybe there wasn't that kind of a movie. I don't know, but there really weren't any standouts, unfortunately. With the critic part done, let me go ahead and give my final thoughts on the score by Hania Rani. So whereas an 8, 9, or 10 reserved for the Hall of Fame, a 5, 6, or 7 ranges from good to great, this one gets a 4 or not memorable. This is not a shot at Rani at all. It's just not one that I'm going to remember anytime soon. It's not one I'm even going to look back on, and it's not one that I would recommend to anyone for any particular reason, for any particular emotion that they want to experience. It's just not that kind of score. I know that Rani is a master of her craft, so I will be looking for her other scores in those other international films that I have yet to see. But I will listen to the scores just to see what her style is like and be able to pinpoint it out in the future. But those are my thoughts on the score of Sentimental Value, composed by Hania Rani. Please let me know what you thought about the score below. While you're down there, the like and the subscribe button work too. You can find me personally at It's Attractive, where you can send any recommendations that you might have there as well. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you all tomorrow for day 9 of 10 as we review this year's Academy Award nominees for Best Score and for Best Picture. Thank you so much for having spent time with me. I will see you all later. Take care. Peace.